All right, I'm going to show you how to do a couple of different ways actually of creating histograms in Excel. Now, there is a way to do it directly, but let me show you what happens if you block a set of data. What I have here are 40 data points. Here they are in a column of 40. Here are the same 40 data points, but split into four sets of 10. Which is more commonly the way you get it when you get assignments from me that are maybe data that was taken in some order for control charts or something like that. If you highlight this data and then go to Insert and then these statistical charts and click a histogram, we get this. Here's the trouble though. This isn't really a histogram of these 40 points. This is actually a histogram of 10 data points. You see there's one data point in the first range, 8 in the second, and 1 in the first. That's only 10. What it's doing is it's actually averaging these rows and then creating a histogram of the averages. And that's what happens when you try to do it directly. One alternative is to cut and paste all of your data into a straight stack. If you do it in a single stack like this, and then pick histogram, so do the same thing, insert, and I'll go straight to the histogram chart, I get something that actually is a histogram of these 40 data points. I'm going to drag it larger so you can see the ranges on the bottom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 classes, and you can see the range for each class. The closed parentheses include the endpoint. The open parentheses do not, if I remember correctly. Now, that's not how so anyway, one option is to just cut and paste anything into a single stack, use the histogram feature, and you'll get a serviceable histogram instead of something that's not. What I was showing in class today is if you want to have a little more control and do it yourself, you can find the maximum of the data set, and I could be blocking either set of data to do this. We can find the minimum of the data set, like this, and then we can find the range by just subtracting them. So we'll subtract the max from the min. Should probably label these. This was the max. This was the min. This is the range. Now, if I then want to find the size of the bins, and the bins, like Microsoft did it automatically here. If I want to control it myself, I might do something like this. I'm going to take this range, and if I wanted it to be about like Excel's, I'd split it into 5 classes. It turns out that 40 data points should be between 5 and 6 classes. So I'm going to do 6 just to be different. It tells me each of my classes should be about 0.066 wide. So here's what I'm going to do to establish my bin range directly. I'm going to pick 10, sorry, the minimum, 9.808, which is a little smaller than my smallest data point. And then I'm going to add to that 9.908 0.066. Oops. Plus 0.066. And then I'm just going to go up until I get above 10.2. Right there, that's 6. That's going to be my bin range. So what I was showing you earlier, if you go to data, now often the data analysis tab is not here. The way to get it is to go to Files, Options, Add-ins, and then here it is. And you see I've checked it already. It's already installed, so I already don't need to install it. I'm going to click on Data Analysis. I'm going to go down to Histogram, click OK. Now it says the input range. So in my input range, I'm going to select my data points. For my bin range, I'm going to select the bins that I set up. And then I'm going to click, you can choose an output range in the table. I'm going to do it in New Worksheet Ply, which seems to be simpler. You have to specify the right range, and there it is. There's nothing in the highest category, so I actually don't need it. So I'll go ahead and copy this back into my original sheet. Here it is, sheet 2. This is what I got when it counted for me itself. Now I just need to insert a bar chart. There we go, more column charts. This is the column chart I want. To make it a histogram, I want to drag those gaps to 0. And there we are. Now it looks a little different because it has a different resolution than the one above it. If I wanted to be really picky, I could actually make these bin ranges look like the bin ranges up here. So this would be a bracket parenthesis, comma, and then I'd have 9.974 with a bracketed parenthesis. So it would be included in here. You can see that showing up down there. Then this one will go 9.94 with an open parenthesis, comma, and then I'd put 10.04 with a closed parenthesis. And I could continue till I have everything labeled. And that would be another histogram. So this is a histogram, that's a histogram. This one's not a histogram, and a lot of times I get case studies handed in that have a histogram that doesn't have, it only has 12 data points on it, or 6 or something instead of the full data set. And there should be exactly one. If you look at these bars, here I have 5, here I have 13, 13, 8, and 1. That adds up to 40. Instead of here where I have 1, 8, and 1, which only adds up to 10. This one also I have 5, and 9, and 10, and 7, and 8, and 1, which also adds up to 40. So then I have histograms. That's different ways of making histograms. You can stack all your data in a single column, then use the native feature, or with a little more control, you can find a bin range yourself and then let it count the items itself, and you can create your own bar graph to make a histogram. Both of these ways are perfectly valid. I hope that proves helpful.